welcome to Rage Against the Machines. Not to be confused with the popular rock band Rage Against the Machine. It's Rage Against the Machines. We talk about bots in video games. This time we got a venerated series on our hands, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six are to many of us a series of childhood memories of a complex action strategy game, where a group of Tier 1 operatives from around the world are bonded together into Team Rainbow, the best counter-terrorist unit in the world. The defining part of these games were the pre-planning phase and the execution of it, the team composition and the equipment. It rewarded tactical thinking and smart playstyles over Rambo antics that would most likely get you killed due to smart AI, heavy weapon recoil and the fact that you die in one shot 9 out of 10 times. Enter Rainbow Six Siege, the latest game in the franchise released in 2015 that flips the classic formula on its head. The first big change players noticed was the multiplayer only focus. The tactical game you once knew had been revamped to a 5v5 multiplayer focused experience like Counter-Strike. This is a big departure from the formula compared to the original games and the third-person action titles of the Rainbow Six Vegas games. But that doesn't mean it's any less tactical. The levels have destructible elements to allow for bullet penetration and breaching tactics on the fly. You can barricade most entry points and even put booby traps. There are different gadgets at your disposal that you can use that are tied to the character you're choosing, like an SAS operative that have a sledgehammer to break down walls, and a Navy SEAL that can put cameras in different places. You can also use recon drones to search for and mark enemies and objectives. So it's basically Rainbow Six, but put in a more hectic environment where you have to adapt on the fly. And it's a really good game, yet many still wonder if having a multiplayer only version of the classic Rainbow Six is viable in the long run. Well, I have two words for you: Terrorist Hunt. Terrorist Hunt is a game mode that lets you hunt terrorists, simply put. You pick a map, you pick your team, you pick your plan of attack, and then you square off against AI enemies. This mode has been a fan favorite in the series ever since the first game, and has supported multiplayer on a lot of occasions. So it can be played offline with AI teammates, lone wolf style, or with friends online. And of course it's a given to include this game on the Siege, though there are some changes. For starters, like the rest of the game, it's an online only mode with a party of 5. You can still make it party only or go in solo, but online is still a requirement. Second, the standard planning of earlier games is switched out to the new loadout based gameplay, where you choose a character, his gear, and then vote for the team's starting position. Outside of that, all planning and intel gathering is done on the fly. The missions can vary from bomb defusal, hostage rescue, defending a hostage, horde mode style, or simply kill all terrorists on the map. One thing Rainbow Six is famous for is the difficulty, and it's still a factor here. You have about 30 dudes that are ready to kill you on sight with any means necessary. This includes throwing flashbangs and frag grenades, shooting through cover and walls, and even sending suicide bombers after you. They are really smart and on high alert, so be sure that you don't stand in front of a doorway that you are going to breach, or you'll be gunned down for sure. They will reposition and flank you and your teammates, and even reinforce walls. The difficulties ranging from easy to hard and realistic doesn't really affect the behavior more so than making them more accurate and deadlier shots. So hard will still be a challenge, while realistic difficulty will really test your wit. It will also boil down on who you're grouping with. If you have hotheads or lone wolves, chances are they are gonna run on their own and get ambushed or step on a mine. Always remember that sticking together is key, since the computer is pretty smart and will do anything to take you down. Every now and then though, they tend to stick too hard on an objective. For example, during bomb defusal, you plant a defusal kit that you then have to guard for a minute. Enemies will spawn and rush to your location. However, if you break line of sight, or they reach the kit before finishing you off, they'll start beating on the device with no regards to the surroundings. If you're out in the open or in the path, you'll likely get mowed down, but bait them in and you'll just have to fill them with lead without breaking sweat. They also can, occasionally, very rarely mind you, break combat just so they can reinforce a wall for whatever reason. One more thing, there is a down mechanic in this game, so if you get shot down but not killed, a teammate can revive you. AI enemies won't finish you off if you're down, but rather gather around you, laughing at you squirm and bleed out on the floor, moments before a teammate shoots them in the back. other than those few moments, you'll still have a challenging AI against you. It's still fun and something you can come back to and feel so satisfied about. One weakness from Ubisoft's part though is there are rarely any challenges that ties in with Terrorist Hunt. Most of them are focused on the player versus player portion of the game, which is such a shame for a well-retained mode. So yeah, Rainbow Six is still great and it still have Terrorist Hunt, which is great. Greatness all around. Alright, that's another one down. Be sure to follow if you want to know who's next up to bat, and I'll see you next time.